Hey everybody, it's Father Shayne here, just in case you forgot who I was. I have not forgotten you. We're in this together. Remember, I've said that from the very beginning, and I know your thoughts and your prayers are with me as my prayers are with you, and we're certainly coming together as a community as best as we can. What I wanted to do for this video is just to answer some questions. Many of you have reached out to me, mainly through email, asking certain questions, and I thought what I'd do for this video is just highlight all of these questions that I've received and answer them as best as I can. And remember, if these questions aren't the ones you had in mind, shoot me an email or my pastoral associate, Diane Justice, and we'll make sure we get those answered. So here's the first question that I've gotten a lot here recently. When will we be able to return to Mass? When will we be able to get back in to the church? I don't know. The Archbishop is communicating with us regularly. But what I do know is this. What we're trying to do and what we've done is bring the Mass to you through technology. And that's been a great success. And I'm most pleased with the way it's turned out and your response to that and your availability to be with us during those Masses. One of the things we're really excited about this weekend, Palm Sunday, is we're going to live stream it. Saturday at 4 p.m. We'll be sending out some information to you to have that link, so be on the lookout for that. And if it goes well, we're planning on live streaming our Holy Thursday Mass, 7 p.m., Good Friday service of Adoration of the Holy Cross at 7 p.m., Easter Vigil Saturday at 9 p.m., and then Easter Sunday at 10:30 a.m. If everything works out with Palm Sunday this weekend, we're going to live stream the Sacred Triduum, so be on the lookout for that. Once we hear more from the Archbishop, we'll let you know when our doors will be open and when we can begin Mass together once again. Are we going to have school the remaining of the year? I have no idea. I've spoken with Miss Tabor, with Miss Ford. We're working on that. I know our teachers are working extremely hard. Our students, our parents are working hard as well. We just have to take it day by day. You know, the President already said we're extending social distancing till April 30th. Who knows? I just don't have the answer to that, but we will let you know as soon as we can. But I'm very proud of our students and our faculty and staff for doing the best they can using technology and other means to keep on teaching and learning. A question I've been getting regularly, Father, you've been talking about stewardship and generosity, and I'm going to give, I am giving, I want to give, but if the church is closed, why do I need to give my money? Well, I'll tell you why. We still have a lot of work going on. We still have a lot of ministry that we're doing. Our teachers are still teaching. And as you know, the majority of our tithing goes to pay for salaries. And unfortunately, our teachers, our administrators, our staff are not eligible for unemployment because they work for the church. And so as pastor, I feel it is fair and just, with the support of the diocese, to keep paying our teachers and our staff who should be expecting a paycheck because they are still working. We still have bills to pay and heating and cooling and lights and landscaping. There's still a lot of work to be done. I can tell you that every single staff member in the parish office, whether they are working from home or popping into the office, they are working. They're connecting with one another. They're connecting with the parishioners. Work is still being done. So please be as generous as you can. Remember, and I'll say it over and over again, the doors may be locked, but the church is still open, and we are serving the people of God as best as we can. So keep that in mind. Are we still going to have a picnic? That's big. That's a big question. That's a great opportunity for us to come together as a community of faith, to have a great time, and it's a good fundraiser too. I had a conference call with the various leaders of our picnic committee, and we decided we could wait as long as June 1st before we make a decision to have the picnic or not. So if we know more information before that, we'll let you know. But as of right now, we are going to wait until June 1st before we decide to have our parish picnic. If we can't have our parish picnic, we're still looking at ways to have the raffles and other drawings as well. So stay tuned for that and pray for good weather, especially if we can have our picnic that weekend of Father's Day weekend. Have we checked on our elderly parishioners? It's a great question. And yes, we have. Diane Justice, our phenomenal pastoral associate, has been going through the parish directory, calling our parishioners who are elderly who may be alone, who may be isolated, and a simple phone call just checking in. And she has shared with me how pleased and wonderful those conversations have been. So yes, we are reaching out, and if they don't pick up, we certainly leave a message. And we ask them if there's anything you need. Let us know, do you need anything? And some have said yes. So continue to pray for our shut-ins and the elderly people of our parish as well. But yes, we are contacting them as well during this pandemic. What is the status of our capital campaign? It's just on hold right now. We're on the path to greatness. The tradition is going to continue. We just have to put the brakes on a bit. And so yes, the capital campaign is still going to happen. We're still going to ask for future pledges and commitments of 3 to 5 years. Many generous people of the parish have already given significant donations. So we're in a very good place. But more information, when we have it, will be coming to you. Continue to pray for the success of the capital campaign. It's going to happen. We've just had to put the brakes on for now. What about funerals, weddings, baptisms, First Holy Communion? Great questions. Every couple that I have scheduled to be the officiant at their wedding, I've reached out to them. Some have changed the dates later on in the year. Some have even looked to 2021. With weddings, the bride and the groom are the primary ministers. And so really all that's needed to get married in the Catholic Church, once you've been prepared and formed, is you need the bride, the groom, the priest or deacon, and a witness. If they're okay with just having that, they can be married in the church and then celebrate later. Some want their family and friends there, since we are not allowed to have large gatherings at all. So it's really up to the bride and the groom. But I've reached out to those that I'm scheduled to officiate at their wedding, and we've had those conversations. Baptisms. Again, especially if it's an emergency, baptisms can happen at any time. But we're working with those who we are training and preparing to become godparents and bring their children to baptism for the first time. We're going to take that case by case. But yes, we will still baptize children, especially if there is an emergency. But if we can wait a couple of weeks or months so that more family members and friends can be there, we'll do that as well. What about funerals? Since this pandemic, we had one parishioner die. We had a beautiful funeral liturgy outside of Mass at the funeral home and then at the cemetery. So right now, that's what we would be doing. We would do everything at the funeral home. And then once all of this settles and we're free to gather again, we will have a memorial Mass. We will remember them at the celebration of the Eucharist. So yes, if someone dies, we will still have a proper Christian burial. It'll be at the funeral home. It'll be outside of Mass. What about First Holy Communion? Well, right now it's scheduled for the end of April. I'm not certain if that's going to be able to happen or not. But First Holy Communion will happen as soon as we are cleared to come back into the church. We have a lot of students, second graders, who've already made their first confession, who've worked extremely hard for this day. And once we can all gather around the altar of sacrifice and receive the body and blood of Christ, our second graders will be one of the first groups to do that. And so stay tuned for more information on our First Holy Communion. And what about our 8th graders and graduation ceremonies? That's another great question. These kids have worked so hard to get through St. Raphael the Archangel, and now they may not be able to graduate. They will graduate, but they might not be able to have a ceremony. Right now, anyway. I'll be meeting with our principal, Ms. Tabor, and our assistant principal, Ms. Ford, to discuss this particular question. So to our 8th grade families out there, stay tuned. We'll be reaching out to you to let you know what graduation ceremonies may look like in the midst of this pandemic. We will do everything we can to bring you and your families and your children together to celebrate the great accomplishments they've had this year and many years in the past at St. Raphael. So stay tuned for more information about graduation. One of the questions I've gotten recently is, will I anoint someone or bring them viaticum if they are sick and dying? And the answer is yes. Now, I want to take extreme precautions to make sure that I'm going into a safe and secure situation for my benefit and for the benefit of the people that are there, especially the sick and the dying. But yes, I will anoint if you are sick. I will give viaticum, the Eucharist, if you are dying. So please contact myself or Diane Justice. If you are in danger of death or extreme sickness. And we will be able to help you as best as we can. Some people have asked, Father, what are you doing during all this? Well, that's a great question. I like the slower pace. I like not having dozens of meetings or responding to bazillions of emails requesting this or that. I like the slower pace, but I miss the people of God. I was ordained to be a priest and to be a pastor. And right now I kind of feel like a shepherd with no sheep. Even though I know we're together spiritually and maybe electronically or through technology, but I really do miss celebrating the sacraments with and for you. I get up every morning, I pray in my chapel, I pray a rosary, I have breakfast, I go over to the office and get some work done. There's still a lot of work to be done. And then I come back and I celebrate Mass for the intentions of that day in my daily chapel. Then I have lunch and I usually take a nap, or sometimes two. Here lately it's been 3 times. And then I just try and take a walk or read a book, watch some TV, and just kind of relax. Now luckily I'm living with 2 other priests in the rectory, Father Peter and Father Benny, so I'm really not alone. And many generous parishioners have dropped off meals for me and for us to eat, so I'm very grateful for that. But I'm doing okay. I just miss being with the people of God. I hope you're finding a good, holy, and healthy routine. You got to get up and walk around. You got to say your prayers. You got to pray your rosary, do your devotions. Have meals. Remember those who are going without, and just find ways to enter into this time and be with God and with one another. One of the last questions I've received recently is, what are we doing about our stewardship, generosity, intention cards? Keep coming in. Right as of today, I looked and we had almost 300 people that have returned their stewardship intention cards. Now, with everything that's gone on, people may have forgotten. They may still be sitting there on your counter or on your desk, or maybe still in the trash can. We need you to fill that out. I was looking for over 60%, I know. And right now we have about 1/3 of our parish families have returned their stewardship intention cards. So since you got nothing else to do, take a look at your stewardship intention card. Watch the video. Pray about what God is asking you to do even during these uncertain times. And either drop them off at the parish office or mail them in. Remember, if you have any other questions, get a hold of us in the parish office by email. That's the best way. Remember, the doors may be locked, but the church is still open. Know of my prayers for you, and continue to pray for me, your pastor. We will get through this together. Do not be afraid. We are a people of hope and a people of the light. The holiest week of the year is coming upon us, and we will soon celebrate Easter, the resurrection. And remember, Christ had to endure suffering and pain and isolation and loneliness before he could experience the resurrection. We too will rise from this. May God bless you and your loved ones now and forever. Amen.